Hello bakers, I'm back. It's been a long time, but I've been meaning to do this little video for ages just to show you how to make a starter. It's a no discard starter and it takes 5 to 7 or 8 days and it's really simple. There's no waste and it's just as easy as can be. It takes 5 minutes a day. So I like to start using a glass measuring cup so I can make sure everything gets incorporated. And I start using a half pint, a very small jar, just a half pint. Later on, we'll move it to a pint, but for now, just a little jar is good. So all you have to do is have some whole wheat flour, a small jar, some filtered water, and there's no measurements required. I call this my all about abouts, no discard starter, because it's not about the amount, it's about consistency and you want it thick. So what I do, I have whole wheat flour, I have filtered water, I have my jar and my measuring cup, and I use my tablespoons, but they're not for measuring, they're for scooping, just because they're smaller. So what I'll do is I'll put, maybe a little more than a tablespoon of whole wheat flour. And I'll use a different spoon for my water. Maybe a tablespoon or maybe a little more of filtered water. And then I will, whoops, I forgot my spatula. I have my little sturdy spatula. And I will stir this up. Oh, I think I'm gonna need just a little more water. Scoop a little more in there. Because you want it to be stirrable. Ooh, got too much. Now I need a little more flour. Okay, let's see how that looks. It's about the consistency though. It's not about the amount. It's not about a tablespoon or any certain grams. When you get ready to make your dough, you will be weighing it, so you will want to have a scale handy. I actually have two, but they're digital scales. And they have units of ounces, pounds, grams, milliliters, that sort of thing. But we don't use that now because it's just not required. Okay, that's a little tiny bit thin. I'm just gonna add just a tiny bit more flour. And then I'm gonna show it to you as I put it in the, that's good. And you wanna get air into it and just mix it up really well. And it should look like that. And now I'm just gonna try and put this neatly into our jar. I don't want to get stuff on the sides because then it's hard to tell if it's growing or not. It shouldn't grow on the first day. Really, I would be surprised. It usually doesn't start bubbling up until about day 3 or 4. And the first time I did this, I actually got sick after day 2. And so I just left it on the counter for about 3 days. And I came back and I thought, well, I'm gonna pitch it and start over. And I thought, oh, well, what the heck? I'm gonna feed it and see what happens. And that next day, it had grown to the very top of my jar. It had had plenty of time to ferment. And so then I just fed it for about 3 more days and I had a beautiful starter and I made bread, and there's a little short on YouTube that shows the bread that I made with that little starter. And so this is all you're gonna have. That's it. And then you're gonna put your rubber band down to where you're at. And then you're just gonna put your lid on it. And you're gonna give it maybe 2 or 3 turns. That's it, just so it doesn't get knocked off, but you don't want it airtight. Let me rinse my finger. And then when you come back tomorrow, you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna put it back in your measuring cup. You're gonna rinse out your jar. Don't wash it with soap. You need the good bacteria that's in there. So just rinse it out and dry it out and set it aside. And then add another tablespoon or so of water and another tablespoon and a half or so of whole wheat flour. Mix it up really well, put it in your clean jar, and then move your rubber band to a little higher because now you're gonna have a little more. And that's it. Mix it up, put it in your jar, put the lid on it. You leave it somewhere warm and cozy. The weather is starting to warm up, but not everywhere in the world. So if you don't have someplace warm and cozy, some people put it in their ovens with the light on. That's what I did. But I can give you one really good piece of advice, and that's put a Post-it note or something over the controls to your oven so that it doesn't get turned on by accident, which happens all the time. And then it's ruined and you have to start again. So put something over those controls so that nobody will turn on the oven. I often do this at night before I go to bed, and then get up first thing in the morning and take it out of the oven. You can turn the oven off, light on. I put a towel over the rack and then put this on the towel so that it's not touching anything that might get too warm. That's a good way of doing it, and that nobody's using the oven in the middle of the night. The other thing you can do is now King Arthur has Broad & Taylor proofing boxes and a little sort of proofing cabinet. It's a little small thing. If you go to the King Arthur baking website, they have those for sale, but they're a bit pricey. So if you want to save a little money, and I wish I'd known this before my husband bought me my Broad & Taylor proofing box, you can take a plastic tub, one that has a lid, put a towel in the bottom, put a heating pad on that towel, and then put another towel on top of the heating pad. Bring the cord out, stick this in the plastic tub, put the lid on, it won't close completely. Turn on the heating pad to low and leave it in there. You'll have a nice cozy environment with a pretty much constant temperature. Now most heating pads these days have a auto shut-off feature for safety. So you will have to go back from time to time and turn it back on low. But it works really well, and it's a cheaper way of having a proofing box than buying one of the Broad & Taylors. After about 3 or 4 days, you're going to want to add about a tablespoon of bread flour to your whole wheat flour, and so a little bit more water. Remember, it's always about the consistency. It should be thick, not thin and runny. If it's thin and runny, it's not going to work. It's going to take forever to ferment, to bubble up, because there's not enough food in there to feed what's going on. So that's the ticket, is making it reasonably thick, giving it plenty of fuel, of food. And that's it. After about 3 days, you'll probably want to move it to a larger jar, because when it does start to rise up, then you don't want it to overflow. And after about 4 or 5 days, it should be rising up to the top of the jar. After about 6 or 8 days, you're ready to make some dough, and I'll tell you how to do that when we get to that point. But for now, that's your starter, and that's all there is to it. Takes 5 minutes a day, takes a few days, and you're ready to rock and roll. I would much rather do that than get a gifted starter, because I don't know what's gone into that gifted starter. I know what's going into mine. And remember, you need to mix it really well and get a lot of air into it, because it's the bacteria, the good bacteria in your air, that will make this ferment. So between the water and the air and the flour, you're gonna have a nice little starter in no time. And that's all there is to it, just like that. So when you're ready to make bread, let me know and we'll go from there. So happy baking and good luck.